Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and TuneIn. Now, here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Season 7, Episode 25, overall 355 of Live with CDP Sports Talk, which is sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, or give them a call at 519-824-0210, or email them at info@barrycullen.com. And I hope everyone's doing well on this, what is it, Tuesday, January 16th, 2024. 2024 kind of creeps me out a little bit because I remember the 70s and 80s, and I can't believe how fast time has gone and half of January is gone. But also, guys, Live with CDP Sports Talk is on weeknights from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern on radio station WQEE 99.1 FM in Noonan, Georgia, the home of Southern Talk and Sports. I hope everyone's doing well on this January 16th. I'm looking forward to my guest today. I'm going to bring her on shortly. Her name is Dr. Meenal Agarwal. I hope I pronounced her last name right. She's an optometrist with at Pickering Town Center Optometric clinic, and we're going to talk about the importance of eye exams, eye checkouts, and some other stuff about your eyesight, and also eye care as well, with picking out the right glasses and frames as well. And I'm looking forward to bringing on Dr. Meenal. Just one second. Good afternoon. How are you?
Very well. Thank you, Chris, for having me today.
I hope I got your last name right.
And you know what? Everyone stumbles, and everyone stumbles with optometrists too. So it's okay. It's allowed.
I'm going to be honest with you. I was practicing for a half an hour this morning because I try to take good pride in getting things right. And that word can be a little tricky at times.
I know. I like to stick to eye doctor.
Eye doctor.
That's easier, right? Right. Yeah.
Okay, well, for me, it's still good because when you're in the radio media industry, one of the big things is trying to get people's names right and stuff like that. And hey, I want to say thank you so much, Dr. Meenal, for coming on here today. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
How was your holidays? And happy belated New Year halfway through January.
You as well. And I am also stumbling on the 2024 because it's hard to believe it is 2024. So no, it was good. It was a busy season at work. And now, back to 24, the start of it.
And you're based out of Pickering, Ontario, right? Correct?
Yeah, I have 3 clinics. So I have so they're all 3 in the GTA. So one in Pickering, one in Stouffville, and one in Thornhill.
Wow. So, hey, I want to say thank you for giving me some time. That must be time consuming looking over all 3 of them.
It is. We have a group of wonderful doctors who help and work at all 3 of them. But it is time consuming, sort of having that work-life balance, if you know what I mean, between working at the practices, seeing our patients, managing the clinics, trying to offer that level of care that our patients deserve. But I love it. So, I mean, nothing, I wouldn't have it another way. Let's say that.
And people also don't realize how important your eyesight is, not just for driving a vehicle, but for working, for getting around and stuff like that. And that's why I was glad to have you on today, just to talk about the importance of good eye care and getting regular eye checks as well, exams.
Yeah, I mean, obviously for me, I'm biased because I'm an eye doctor, but, of all the senses that we have, sight is so important, and it's probably the most undervalued. If we have a vision issue, it's it can be prevented. It can be, we could slow the progression down. Early prevention is super important. But so many people don't visit their optometrist regularly, and they come to us at a point when they've lost that permanent vision, and there's no turning back. So, we'll go see other healthcare practitioners in the industry, every 6 months or every year. And most patients don't come to us for 2 years. And a lot of that is because your insurance. And I think you were telling me earlier that you're due every 2 years, right? A lot of people base it on their insurances. But that's not always the right time to have it. So annual eye exams are so important because, if something starts within the 2 years and you've kind of missed that and 2 years have gone on, that's scary to us. And we have seen those consequences. And diseases don't come with age always, and they don't come with, a set time. And that's what's scary about it.
Now, I always thought dentists, a lot of people didn't want to go to dentists. So you find there's a lot of people that don't like getting their eyes checked. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the don't like aspect of it. I think it's not an unpleasant experience, but I think a lot of people just assume they don't need it because they can see well, and that's key. So it's not only the fact that we're checking your prescription. Of course, we're checking for good vision, and that's important for, like you said, driving, working, quality of life. But what's very important, and sort of that second aspect of an eye exam, is eye health and eye disease prevention and assessment. And that's the piece patients miss. So they see, oh, you know what, but I don't feel like my prescription's changed, or I'm still seeing well in my glasses, so I don't need to visit my eye doctor till I feel that change. And that's where we're really trying to, make that awareness, or raise that awareness about the importance of annual eye exams rather than going to what your insurance policy is covering.
Wanted to ask you this as well. Currently, I'm seeing one every 2 years. What do you recommend? Do you recommend going to see an eye doctor once a year or every 2 years? Or it depends on your age. Once a year?
You know what? Not even age dependent. Once a year, because
okay.
Like I said, it won't come with age. Like, it doesn't always, diseases don't come with the time. We've seen children with concerns. We've seen adults. We've seen seniors. And we don't know who it's going to hit. We don't know what's sort of out there. And annual eye exams, absolutely.
Okay, I guess I'll be calling my eye doctor and getting my appointment a little bit sooner, because I was just always under the impression that if you're at a certain age, it's every 2 years. But once a year, you recommend for every age group then?
Every age group. And you know what? In Ontario, and a lot of provinces, 19 and under are covered by OHIP once a year. So, that's just to show how important even children eye exams are.
Definitely. And I think seniors at a certain age are covered as well.
Yes, and that varies between every year to every 18 months, 65 and over, but they are also covered. And then there's certain patients kind of in the middle range that are covered with certain medical conditions. Yeah, every year.
Okay. Well, as soon as I'm done this show with you today, I'm going to call my eye doctor and get myself in, and then in the next couple of weeks as well, because like I said, it's been almost, I would say the last time I was July 2022. So yeah, I guess I'm overdue. And and we brought this up earlier too. Your health can affect your vision as well. Diabetes and having heart attacks, strokes, everything like that.
Everything. And that's kind of what hits home and is very important for me to feel like I need to raise awareness about this. So regular eye exams can help us detect things like diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol, where sometimes we're the first people who say, you know what, you need to get your blood pressure checked. I tell people this every day, that, hey, you need to have your blood pressure checked. You need to have your sugars checked. So that's kind of just routine for me almost. But there are more serious conditions that we have seen. I mean, I've been practicing 15 years and I've seen multiple sclerosis, or MS. And we're the first people that sometimes diagnose it and say, hey, you need to have that workup. And we're sending them for that workup. Recently, I just had a patient, 55 years old. She had seen her family doctor recently, completely healthy, not on any medication, no signs of anything. And I found a plaque in one of her blood vessels. So immediately I sent her to the hospital, to the stroke clinic, for a workup. And the reason we did that is that if that plaque dislodged, it would cause an immediate stroke. And that could have happened within the next hour, or in the next year. There was no way for me to know that. And the scary part is, a physical can't show that, right? Or your routine checkup with your family doctor. So sometimes, the eyes will show things like that. My very first patient, I still remember when I graduated, was a patient who I saw signs of cancer inside her eye. And after she had a workup where we had sent that out, it turns out she had lung cancer. So a lot of times your eyes are the secondary site of cancer, which is scary because that means it's sitting somewhere else in your body. And when we see it in the eyes, we know it's somewhere else. And then there's, even for children or teenagers, I've seen multiple teenagers or even adults, I'm not going to say it doesn't happen to them, but high intracranial or brain pressure, where we've referred out right away for a spinal tap to relieve that. There's just, thyroid issues, basic everyday issues like thyroid, we'll see signs in the eyes. There's so many that, stroke. I had a patient yesterday who had felt one eye was a little blurry. She had a stroke in the eye. So, I encourage people to even while we're on this call, if you're listening, just cover one eye, with your glasses on and make sure you can see comparatively, well with both eyes, because so many of us think we can see well because one eye is compensating for the other, or we don't realize. So my kind of, I guess to sum it up, I would say eye diseases are silent, but your eyes are that phrase that we've always grown up with, the eyes are the window to the body. It's true, and there are things that we're seeing that no one else would see. So this is where sometimes we'll shock people and they'll think, no, I can't have a stroke. I'm only 55 years old, or this can't happen to me. And it's like, no, it can. And taking that preventative action where we're referring them to the stroke clinic and then they're being put on blood thinners or whatever, which they would not have been had they not had that eye exam, is so important to us. And I think that's what gives me such pleasure in my job, is that the importance of an eye exam is not just about, glasses or dispensing glasses, but there's so much more to it. And that's a comprehensive eye exam, which I'd like to urge people to understand that a comprehensive eye exam includes not only checking your prescription or your vision, but checking the health of your eyes thoroughly. And so it's kind of a two-part as opposed to one part of an eye exam.
I want to say, Dr. Meenal, thank you for explaining this to my audience and to myself as well. And it's literally, it's like your vehicle. You don't neglect your car. If you do, you're going to end up having your car break down. And just another reason why what you just explained, why people should go see an eye doctor once a year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, what are some other myths about eye care?
Some other myths. I'm going to say, so the eating carrots is going to be one of them. I grew up with that. I'm sure you did, yes. Right? So the eating carrots is definitely, I'm not going to say it's entirely a myth. So I will not say that. So there are certain diseases like macular degeneration, which arise from the lack of components like lutein in your macular area, which is the central area of your retina that helps you to see. And that degenerates and, could be genetic or you have it over time as you get older. And pigmentation in carrots and other, green leafy vegetables, colored peppers, all the colored kind of veggies or spinach, all that green color, that pigment is the same pigment in our retina or our macular area, and we need that. So what I'm going to say is those vegetables or those pigmented vegetables are good for your retina, but they're not going to make you see better. My parents told me, see this, you won't need glasses, eat lots of carrots, you won't need glasses. It's not related to glasses. It is related to macular degeneration. And we do cancel patients at a certain age because this typically happens as you get older, 50 plus. And there are certain patients with routine eye exams, we'll see they're predisposed to it or family history of it, or we feel there are minor signs of it where we will say, hey, we need you to intake more of this. So whether it's through your diet or a supplement that we'll offer them, we need you to, kind of take care of that eye health. But I'm not going to say that to my children because I know they have enough in their macula, at that age. So that would be a myth for overall everybody kind of needing to eat carrots all the time.
I heard that too as well back in the
Yeah.
70s. Hey,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you this as well. I don't have kids myself, but when you have young children, what age should you take them to an eye doctor, optometrist? Like right when they're born, or wait a few months?
Yeah, no, 6 months is generally
6
when
months,
we
okay.
start. Yeah, when things kind of have developed a little bit. So 6 months, I start at 6 months. Most optometrists start at 6 months. And I want to kind of, let parents know that it's not they sit there and need to read the eye chart for us. We don't do that. It's all done with handheld equipment, with lights. And the main thing we're checking at that age group is, we want to make sure their eyes are completely aligned and parents or doctors have not missed a minor eye turn that could affect them throughout their life. We want to make sure there's no high or major prescription, and we want to make sure the retina is okay, or the inside health of the eyes. And there's nothing blocking the pathway, including, unfortunately, there's certain diseases like retinoblastoma or cancers that are very scary and rare, but we are looking for all of that. And so 6 months and you're covered by OHIP. And then typically I'll go annually from there and watch their growth or their development of the eyes.
Okay, good to know. And we're going to get into some questions now, Dr. Meenal. Can you just tell my audience, I'm based out of Guelph, but my show's international. Can you just tell my audience a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. Okay. I wanted to be an optometrist since I was little. I was actually diagnosed with glaucoma when I was 11 years old by my own optometrist. And that hence the why I think diseases don't come with age, because glaucoma is typically known as a older, senior population disease. But this is, I had it at 11, and I knew I wanted to be an optometrist since then, because that optometrist handheld me so much throughout the process, or that fear of I may go blind if I'm not managed correctly, or regardless, I might go blind. And handhold my immigrant parents that literally thought I was going to, go blind the next day. So that to me was so important. It was not only the diagnosis of the disease, but it was the care, or that level of comfort that, I had annually, or every 6 months, or every 3 months. And I was also managed at Sick Kids Hospital. And that's when I said, I'm going to be an optometrist. So I went to the University of Waterloo, in optometry. And shortly after I graduated, I actually was, one of the few that just decided off the bat to open my own practice. And that's when I opened in Pickering. And then I opened my Stouffville clinic shortly after that, and then Thornhill. And the reason I opened my own practice, I'm going to have to say right away, was I really needed to be in an environment that was built by me, an environment where patient communication, care, customer service, and just it was a loving environment. I needed to control that such that it was an environment that everyone liked coming to work and everybody sort of, everybody cared about their patients, and that's what mattered to me. And now, I can thankfully say all the doctors at all my clinics are phenomenal and handpicked, and work really hard every day to ensure that we're preventing eye disease. So that's kind of my background. Now, family life, I am, married with 3 kids. So, they're very young. They're all 7 and under. So, they drive me crazy, which is that work-life balance. I'm still navigate. I think I'm going to navigate it for life, right? Like, I don't think it's ever going to end, but, yeah, it's different. But yeah, it's balancing life, work, and that.
I wanted to ask you this. I was reading up on your bio. Obviously, you went to the University of Waterloo. When I think of University of Waterloo, I think of their engineering program. So, how good was their optometry program at the University of Waterloo? And congrats on being put on the dean's list.
Oh yeah, no, thank you. I it's the only optometry school besides the one in Montreal, in
Okay.
Canada. So, if you want to stay in Canada to do optometry, it's going to be one of the two. So it houses, uh, optometry students from all over Canada. So we had a lot of, a class with BC students, Alberta students, so that's nice. But I mean, a phenomenal school, and, phenomenal training, I'm going to say. And I think the belief that they kind of instill in you that, we matter is huge. And that's why optometrists are really taking such good care of their patients now.
How many years was your program at the University of Waterloo?
Yeah, it's 4 years.
Okay, 4 years.
Yeah.
And did you have a mentor or mentors when you were in school or first starting out in this industry?
I think that mentally, kind of my optometrist was my, mentor in the sense that, I wanted to be like him, like literally. But then as I entered optometry school, I did have, professor mentors who, understood me, understood my passion, and kind of wanted me to grow that passion. So for me, I'm not going to say it was a mentor that, held hands with me, but I'm going to say it's a mentor where I wanted to be, like them, or I looked up to them. And I still have that to this day. There are other optometrists where I'm like, you guys do such great work. And, I aspire to be like that. And, I reach out to them because I think that's just part of life. If you can look up to people rather than, having that, why amn't I like you, but more like, I want to be like you, and we can aspire and work harder. That kind of what drives your engagement in your profession.
I don't know you that well, but I can tell how passionate you are. And you know what? Any career you're in, you have to have that passion. And if you don't have that passion, I found it's time to move to another career. And I'm just so glad you were able to come on here today.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
The next question I wanted to ask you, Dr. Meenal, is can you tell us a little bit about your experience as an intern at Parkland Health and Hospital in Dallas, Texas, and just what that experience was like?
Yeah, so that was actually part of my internship at the University of Waterloo Optometry School. So we had to do an internship, externally, and you can choose different sites, and I chose that site. And it was a hospital. I don't know the exact terms in America, but it was a hospital where patients could come in with free eye care. And so we had a lot of immigrant patients that didn't have access to healthcare coming in for eye exams. So we'd walk in at 7 a.m. when our shifts would start, and there'd be a line up out the door, and we'd be like, "Oh my God," And it was like one after the other after the other. And what I'm going to say is there was a very high disease rate. Right? I would say predominantly diabetic retinopathy, which is bleeding and swelling at the back of the eye from advanced diabetes. That was a big one, but it was just disease, so much disease. I also focused a little bit on low vision care, which is when, and typically it's seniors, but it can be children or any age where they've developed an advanced eye disease that has compromised their vision permanently. Low vision is a specialty where we're trying to enhance their vision, whether it's contrast or whether it's magnifiers, to the best we can so that they can go about their daily lives and their quality of life, even basic things like checking the mail or, looking at a computer screen. So that was low vision, and that was rewarding because it requires a lot of patience. I'm going to say that. And it's rewarding because, you're enhancing someone's vision who truly can't see. And yeah, it was a great experience. I wouldn't have it any other way. It was overwhelming, I'm going to say. But without it, I don't think I would be loving disease as much as I do.
How long were you down there for, approximately?
I think it was one term. I actually don't remember because it was 15 years ago or 16 years ago. I think it was one term. I want to say 3 to 4 months, but I mean, if the University of Waterloo Optometry School is watching us, they'll correct me, but I think it was about 3 to 4 months.
Wow. And I wanted to ask you this as well. Do you find there's still a lot of people out there that need glasses, but just don't want to wear the glasses because the stigma? I know when I was growing up in the 70s and 80s in school, kids used to get picked on for wearing glasses. And do you
Yeah.
find that still exists today in 2024?
Absolutely. So there is a huge stigma still around wearing glasses, whether it's with children. We also get the opposite where they want to wear it for fun, right? And we have ways around detecting that. But even adults just wanting to wear, reading glasses, they prolong that, they delay that, as much as they can. They'll struggle or they'll expand the font. And all I'm going to say is you want your eye muscles to relax. The point of glasses sit on the surface. They're not in your eyes to change anything about your eyes, but they sit on the surface, and think of them as a crutch or as braces for your teeth. They're just they're just there to enhance the vision and change the path of light so it hits your retina so your muscles can relax. And that's important. So, when patients say to me, oh, I shouldn't be wearing my glasses because then my eyes won't work as hard and then they'll get weaker. It's the opposite. If you need glasses and your optometrist has recommended it for XYZ reasons, you should be wearing them so that your muscles can relax and you can see better. And your muscles are not doing that work. And in some cases, your prescription can get worse if you aren't wearing your glasses and correcting that vision.
I met years ago when I think when I turned 40, I needed glasses. And I'm like, no, I'm only 40. I can't need, I had to stigmatize, oh, if you have glasses, you're old or whatever. But the prescription reading glasses have made a huge difference with being on my phone, on my laptop. And I wanted to ask you this as well.
Yeah.
I've heard this from some other people too, saying if you're on your smartphone too much, that can affect your eye vision as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's not just obviously your phone, but it's anything up close, whether it's your laptop, your iPad, your phones, even reading up close a lot. So it's the act of it being, and I always like to explain to patients, it's your arm. If your arm can touch it, you know that it's considered near work. And excess near work can lead to nearsightedness or progress nearsightedness much faster. And that's where we saw, like during COVID, all the kids were on, virtual classes, adults were working from home. And that's where we saw unexpected increases or onset of nearsightedness, which was huge for us, like during COVID and after COVID. And we're still suffering kind of the consequences, seeing patients who we would never expect to develop a prescription, or adults where we're like, that shouldn't have increased like that. And just, to tell your viewers that there are a lot of myopia or nearsightedness control methods now that we didn't have in my time growing up. So if your nearsightedness is increasing, definitely speak to your optometrist, because there are methods where we can successfully, control it as much as we can so that is not increasing at such a high rate. But yeah, it's the act of doing it up close that really increases your nearsightedness. So, I'm going to tell I tell my patients all the time, take breaks, so frequent breaks. So, every couple minutes, just look away and then come back to your device. And that's important for your muscles to relax when they look far away and then they come back up close.
And I'm guilty of that as well with TVs and smartphones. And one thing I've been working on too is before you go to the bed, they say you should put your smartphone away about at least an hour before you go to bed as well, because it's like TV, it stimulates your brain and it makes it harder for you to sleep as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Because of the blue light that's emitted from screens, can actually disrupt your circadian rhythm. So that definitely affects your sleep. So you're correct in saying, I think it's 1 or 2 hours before sleeping, you want to put away devices. I mean, I'm guilty of it. I still do it, right? But they say you want to put it away so that you're not disrupting your circadian rhythm and you're able to sleep well. And that's another reason why, we'll, in certain instances, we'll recommend the blue filter coating on your glasses, which is that newer coating over the last few years that has come out, because it helps to filter some of the harmful blue light that can disrupt your circadian rhythm.
How hard was your industry affected by the pandemic from 2020 to 2022?
Very much. It seems like a while away, so I don't remember all the details, but we were shut down for, I think, those first couple of months or 3 months. And there was no means of kind of teleoptometry that was in place. Like physicians were able to do televisits. We didn't have that. So, our associations, our colleges, like they all got together and sort of helped us navigate that, how are you diagnosing a red eye on the phone, or navigating platforms to do video calls with patients. So those 3 months were a killer because of that. And then after that, I think a lot of patients were apprehensive to come in. I would say even I saw a handful of patients yesterday who had not had an eye exam since pre-pandemic.
Wow, that long.
People are still hesitant or almost forgot about eye exams, so they just don't come in, So I'm going to say the pandemic hit us the most because people kind of forgot about eye exams or forgot about the importance of their eyes.
And I have a viewer watching on LinkedIn. I think her name is Christina because the print's small. I do have my glasses on.
Okay, yeah.
Krista, I think Christina. So much awesome information. Well, Christina, thank you for watching. And yeah, like I said, I'm learning a lot from you coming on here today.
Thank you.
Are you okay for a few more minutes and a couple
Oh
more
yeah,
questions?
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
Before we get to the next question, do I have your permission to play your video clip for my
Oh,
audience?
sure. I don't even know what clip, but sure.
Okay, it's about a 50-second clip, and I think it was
Oh,
done
okay.
recently. Yes,
Yeah,
they sent it to me. It's a and yeah,
it's
one
a
second.
frame one, I think. Yeah.
Let me know if you can hear it okay, the volume.
Okay. This is Dr. Meenal, and I just wanted to show you guys some of the amazing frames that are trending now. This is one of my favorite frames. It has a crystally clear look, and it's plastic, and it looks amazing. This is one of my favorite frames. It has that classic black at the top with the gold at the bottom, and it's a very thin, lightweight metal frame. Another really trending color is this thick maroon look, and it just helps give you that pop of color, kind of like a fashion accessory. One of my favorite frames that is the hottest seller is this classic plastic frame with a thick black look to it, and it looks awesome. It is also one of the best fashion accessories a girl can have.
All right, that was thank you so much for letting me play that clip.
Yeah, no problem.
I was going to ask you just one sec. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries.
Sorry about that. I just had too many things on my screen, but just thoughts on that video and how important it is to make sure you find the right fitting frames and glasses these days.
Very important. Very, very important. You know, I've seen people come back a year or two later and just say, I never wore those glasses you gave me because I didn't like them, you know, or I didn't, you know. So I'm going to say that choosing frame process is very important. It is important for you to look good, feel good, and see good. Like that's always my three kind of, you know, you want to make sure that you're wearing this on your face for a good year. You want to look good, and you want to feel good about it, right? So for me, it's important, even for children. This is how I kind of get them into the glasses: is you pick your frame, you pick the color, even if it's that hottest pink out there that mom is like, I don't like. You pick it. You need to pick it because it's important for you to feel it's nice, because then when they go to school or we as adults go to work, we will feel confident in it, and it doesn't matter what others think. The frame fitting is very important because it shouldn't be tight on your temples. It can give you headaches. You should be centered in there. You know, your optometrist and their optician will measure sort of the heights and all of that to make sure we get all the zones correctly. If you're doing certain therapies like myopia control glasses, we want to make sure the zone is there and your centration is correct. Otherwise, you're not getting the full effect of it. So your optometrist will definitely check on that. But frame is always the first step in a glasses process, and it is just as important as the lens is.
And also, too, don't always go by the most popular brand. Just get something that you like and is comfortable and fits you well.
Absolutely. You know, we obviously have that demographic that cares about the brand, right?
Yes.
And that's huge. But for me personally, it's not about the brand, and that's just who I am. For me, it's about what's lightweight. So it feels good, like you said, it fits well, and the color is nice. So whether it's a high-end brand or a no-name brand, for me, it doesn't matter, because that, you know, the quality obviously matters. You don't want it to break, but as long as it's good for you.
And I always have two pairs. I have one pair for home and one for when I'm on the road, and that just in case. I always think it's a good idea to have a backup pair.
Always. And I can't tell you how many kids and adults we say that to. You need to have a backup pair, because the problem is, you know, they'll come in and they'll have nothing to yet buy, you know, and some places can make it in an hour or make it in 2 hours, but it's not always that best lens or the best quality. So want to make sure that, you know, we're able to give our eye doctors a few hours or at least a few days to get it done. So that backup is huge. And I always tell patients, take your newest prescription So the newest one, not the backup pair, should be the one that you're placing when you're doing the most visual tasks, right? So at work, so your office, your desk, you want the newest pair there. And then for children, that would be in school. That's the pair that should be there. And at home can be the backup if you want.
And what's your best advice for keeping your eyeglasses clean? Because sometimes they do get dirty. So what do you recommend?
A microfiber cloth. And they usually come in the cases that you buy. They usually will have one microfiber cloth. So, and you can throw those in the laundry or just wash it with dish soap or anything and clean them. But a microfiber cloth, I mean, I pack it for my sunglasses everywhere I go. So, keep that with you because that's your easiest kind of wipe. And then obviously one of those soapy water sprays that you can get from your optometrist or your eyeglass place where you spray it on and you wipe it with the microfiber cloth. But for children, I'll always give an extra few microfiber cloths because I'll say put in your backpack so that when you're at school and it's all smudgy, you can take it off and just wipe it. It's fast.
And I'm going to play devil's advocates. What are some of the do nots?
The do nots of with your glasses, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, with your glasses. Do not. Oh my gosh, do not take your t-shirt and rub it on, right? Your glasses or your Kleenexes or your paper towels, it kills the coating. Another big one we see a lot is you wear your glasses and you spray your hairspray or something on. We can literally, you'll come to our office and I can tell you every day I'll look at someone's glasses and I'll say that patient has definitely sprayed hairspray on their glasses because we'll see these little dots of coating that has broken off. And that's very classic. So first spray your hair or whatever you're spraying and then put on your glasses. So treat your glasses nicely because they can last a while, if you do.
Just like your body, if you don't treat your body well, it'll break down. Same with the glasses. And that's why I wanted to ask you about that. And that leads to my next question. If you got time for 2 more minutes, I wanted to ask you about this. Can you just tell my audience a little bit about laser vision correction or LASIK and how successful is it?
Yeah, so I've had it done myself. So I've had LASIK many years ago. I used to actually work in the field of laser vision correction for many years. I no longer do, but it is a passion of mine, and I still work up a lot of my patients for LASIK who are very happy. My advice is going to be. As long as you are a candidate, and by candidate, I mean you've had the workup and you know it's safe to proceed and they have told you that it is safe to proceed, likely. And if you're kind of, the center has told you that, there are these risks and these risks, you might want to hold off. And some centers will flat out turn you down. So if a center turns you down, a lot of our patients will go to a different center where they're told they can do it. And I always say, no, you don't do that, right? It's your eyes. You're going to do this once, you're going to do it successful, or you're not going to do it. And so, for example, I had mine, but my husband was turned down, right? And so he's not having it done. I'm not going to let him. But it's the technology at the center that matters, and it's your candidacy that matters. And I think for me, it's also meeting a doctor at your consultation for LASIK. You're going to meet with a doctor at the centers. You can ask your questions. They can tell you, what are the risks pertaining just for you. They're going to do lots of maps of your eyes to make sure it's safe to do the procedure. And of course, there's many different procedures. It's not only LASIK. So if it's not safe to LASIK, they'll turn you towards a procedure called PRK. So there are other options. But if you are absolutely a non-candidate, due to the shape of your cornea, the thickness of your cornea, then you got to step back and think of other solutions.
Okay. I also wanted to ask you this before we wrap up. Are contact lenses still popular nowadays?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay.
I'm going to say contact lenses are obviously primary over LASIK. I mean, most people get into contacts and then they get fed up with it and then they go into LASIK. So glasses are always my first line treatment. Then comes contacts as an optional kind of cosmetic convenience factor. A lot of kids get into it for sports or whatever reasons. Contacts are huge. I mean, I would say 80% of my patients are wearing contact lenses. And nowadays I'm getting a lot of seniors wanting the contacts, especially post-pandemic, because they're now starting to go out a lot and things like that, or travel, you know, because they haven't for so many years, and they want that convenience of not wearing glasses. So yeah, we're doing fittings daily, multiple fittings, and we have such great brands out there now, right? Very thin, very breathable, don't make you as dry as the past brands used to. So what I'm going to say is, if you tried contacts years ago, you know, I'm going to say 4+ years ago, and you didn't like it because it was making you dry, uncomfortable, not breathable enough, try it again, because there are many, you know, newer materials that have come out. So talk to your optometrist, because don't kind of discount it altogether.
Okay, and we're going to wrap this up in about a minute. What advice would you give to those who are watching live stream or on audio who are interested in a career in optometry?
My advice would be, you know, if you're interested, definitely pair up with an optometrist or reach out to optometrists in your area where you can shadow them. You know, I did that when I was younger. Shadow them, see what they do, because it's so important to know what you're getting yourself into before you spend four years of your life. Well, also a couple years probably applying to the program, and then 4 years of your life in it. So shadowing is huge, yeah, I mean, believe in it, because if you're going to spend the rest of your life doing optometry, you have to love eyes.
All right. And what is a fun fact about being an eye doctor or an optometrist?
A fun fact. Oh gosh,
Fun
that's
fact.
it. A fun fact. We do all the things that we tell you not to do. So we stare at the computer for 8 hours. We shine bright lights in our own eyes. We do everything that we tell you not to do. So yeah, that's us. I'm gonna say that's the fun fact.
I ask this with all my guests just at the end of the show, and
Yeah.
it's just a fun question, and to
Yeah.
wrap up a show. And finally, we're going to wrap this up. Where can my audience follow you on social media and your website? And what's the best way to make an appointment at Pickering Town Center Optometric Clinic in Pickering?
Yeah. So, you know, I am on social media now, on Instagram and TikTok, newly on TikTok. So you can definitely follow me at Dr. Agarwal. And then, you know, feel free to DM me or, you know, ask any questions. I'm usually pretty good about, you know, replying if you need some help or you have a question. But if you actually, you know, want to make an appointment at the clinics, you can make one at the Pickering Clinic, the Stouffville Clinic, or the Thornhill Clinic. We are at all three, but you can just Google us and we should be there. So the Pickering one is Pickering Town Center Optometric Clinic. Then Thornhill is Promenade Optometric Clinic, and then Stouffville is Stouffville Family Eye Care. But feel free to reach out to me even on our social media platforms. I think it's streaming underneath there. But feel free to reach out to them, because it'll usually, you know, I will reply. I'm pretty good about that, and at least offer some advice if I can.
And to let our audience know, I met you through TikTok, Dr. Meenal, and I
Awesome.
thought it was a great. I thought what you did was great, and that's
Thank
how
you.
I reached out to you. And also, what's the best way of the appointments? Do you guys prefer phone, or do you guys prefer to be done online?
Either way, whatever's
Okay.
convenient for you. We do have online bookings available on all our websites. So if you just kind of Google those names, or you want to shoot me a DM, or you can actually connect with it through my Instagram even. But you can book online. There is online availability, or just call us. But we are in the GTA, so if anyone's you know, in that area, feel free to reach out to us.
And I just put on your Pickering location website as well, and the hours of operation are on there as well.
Yeah, 2 of our clinics are open 7 days a week for patient conveniences, and one of the clinics is open 6 days. So, I mean, definitely we've got a lot of appointments. We're opening evening hours. We have a lot of doctors who are phenomenal. So, definitely there's lots of care there. And you know, if we're far from you, reach out to your local optometrist, because you know, ask them questions. They'll be more than happy, I'm sure, to help you. Most of us in the profession do want, you know, to have that open communication with our patients and want them to care about their eye health just as much as we do.
And thanks to meeting you and having you on my show today, I'm going to speed up my next eye appointment, and I'll let you know. And I'll let you know how it goes. And we'll definitely
Definitely.
have to keep in touch on social media, on Instagram and TikTok. And I will definitely send you an audio, video, and a link to the radio station link of this show as well. And I want to say, Dr. Meenal, thank you so much for giving me more than 30 minutes. I'm sorry I kept you 45.
No, that's okay. I told you I love talking, right? So
do I. Maybe you should have your own once a month podcast show.
Yeah, maybe one day.
Yeah, seriously, I think you do really well at it. And just want to say thank you so much for giving us some time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Well, have a great rest of the day. And we'll definitely keep in touch with you on social media.
Thank you. Take care, Chris. Bye.
You too. Thank you. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed season 7, episode 25 of Live with CDP Sports Talk today with my guest, Dr. Meenal Agarwal. She is an optometrist out of Pickering, and she also has 2 other practices in Stouffville and Promenade in the Toronto area as well. And again, one of the big pieces of advice I got from Dr. Meenal today is to get your eyes checked once a year. I was told kind of by mistake once every 2 years, but you should get them checked at least once a year. And how valuable getting your eyes checked is important, because they can detect other health issues if you have any as well before a family doctor can see you as well. So Dr. Meenal Agarwal, again, she's out of Pickering Town Center, Optometric Center as well. And you can check out her websites at Pickering Eyes Doctors, DRS.com. I put the website there as well. And yours truly is going to be making an eye appointment with my local eye doctor here in Guelph very soon from today's show. And again, want to say thank you to Dr. Meenal for coming on here as well. And also, guys, this is only part 1 of Live with CDP Sports Talk. My second show is going to be tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern with my special guest, Courtney Mendenhall. She is a Focus Point mental health specialist. She's a coach, a trainer, and also she's a podcast host of her own sports show, and she's a huge Steeler fan. So we're going to talk a little bit with Courtney about her career and a little bit about the Pittsburgh Steelers as well. So I hope you guys can tune in to 8 o'clock tonight. Also, guys, the new movie, The DeMarco Crew, is set for release in 2024 and features a great cast of actors and actresses, such as my friend Chris Spinelli from Fatal Justice, Louis DeStefano from Backfire, Nicole D'Angelo, Love Crime, and Shane Ryan Reed from Another Way to Die, just to name a few. Please be on the lookout for The DeMarco Crew on most major live streaming services, including Tubi and Amazon Prime. And a shout out to my friend who's an actor, writer, producer, Nino Sciamino as well. And I'm looking forward to seeing this movie as well. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up this show again. But as always, Live with CDP Sports Talk is live streamed on these platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, X, Twitch, LinkedIn, and now available on Instagram. So please follow me on Instagram, Chris Palme on Instagram, and you can watch my show there as well. And also, guys, you can check out my website, beacons.ai/Chris D. Palme. Live with CDP Sports Talk, again, is sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet dealership here in Guelph at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles. Speaking of Barry Cullen Chevrolet right now, Discover Winter event is going on at Barry Cullen Chevrolet. A 2024 Silverado 1500 custom crew cab is now available for $139 weekly at 5.9% financing for 24 months with an ultra $3,749 down payment as well on a low ultra kilometer lease. More details at barrycullen.com as well. Live with CDP is also on TikTok. I am a content creator on TikTok. You guys can follow me at Live with CDP. I really enjoyed TikTok, and I posted some more stuff there, including the Dallas Cowboys. I am quite pleased that they were eliminated by the Green Bay Packers as well. Also, guys, StreamYard is the official live stream provider of Live with CDP Sports Talk. If you're into webinars or podcasting, such as yours truly, check out StreamYard.com. I'm now an affiliate with StreamYard.com, so please send me an email at cpame19@gmail.com or DM me here on social media, and I can give you more information why you should join StreamYard.com. It is the #1 live streaming provider out there, and you can get plans, a basic plan for free, or you can get plans up to professional plans like I do, which you have to pay for. But StreamYard, excellent customer service, excellent product, and StreamYard helps make my podcast radio show look even more professional. So again, check out StreamYard.com. Live with CDP Sports Talk, again, the audio version is available on these platforms: iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Spotify for podcasters, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Spotify, Castbox, LinkedIn, Pandora, and Tuned In. And again, weeknights at 8 o'clock on WQE 99.1 FM. You can also email or text Live with CDP Sports Talk at cpame19@gmail.com or text the show at 519-820-7188. Any comments, questions, suggestions, feedback would be greatly appreciated as well. And please check out my YouTube channel. I'm now up to 265 subscribers, 800 videos, and now I've learned how to do video shorts and clips and reels as well. So please hit the subscribe notification and hit the like notification to my YouTube channel as well. And I have more stuff I'm going to be posting on YouTube shortly. And also, guys, I just wanted to let you know, I'm just looking up here 1 second. Again, Live with CDP Sports Talk is on weeknights from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. on radio station WQEE 99.1 FM in Noonan, Georgia. Shout out to station manager Ryan O'Neill, who brought my show on his radio station last February. So it's going on a year that I've been on prime time in Noonan, Georgia, which is just outside of Atlanta. And our radio station's website, if you want to listen to these episodes, is wqeefm.radio12345.com. And finally, before we wrap it up, guys, we got some NFL news here. And it looks like Eagles all-time great center Jason Kelce looks like reportedly he's going to retire after a 13-year career in the NFL with the Philadelphia Eagles for number 62. 7-time All-Pro Bowler, 6-time first-timer, 7-time All-Pro center. Also a Super Bowl champion, part of 2 Super Bowl teams with the Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowl 52 champion, and one of the best centers in NFL history and Eagles history. So it looks like the end for Jason Kelce after the Eagles disappointing 32-9 loss to Tampa Bay last night. The Eagles started the season 10-1, looking like they were going to go 14-3 like they did last year. And they were so close to winning the Super Bowl 57 last year. And this year, they lost 5 out of the last 6 regular season games and ended up losing the division title to Dallas. And then they ended up going to Tampa Bay last night and getting blown out 32-9. My opinion, there are going to be major changes with the coaching staff and the roster. Jeffrey Lowry wants to win in Philadelphia. So I'm pretty confident and convinced he will get this team fixed for next year, because right now they are broken in my opinion. So I'm still going to be a Philadelphia Eagles fan next year. You know what? In the last 6 years, they've been to 2 Super Bowls. They beat New England and they nearly beat Kansas City. And you know what? A lot of NFL cities would love to go to 2 Super Bowls in 6 years and have a Super Bowl title and almost a second one. So Jeffrey Lowry, I'm convinced he'll get this team fixed, and we'll see what happens with Howie Roseman. I think he'll be safe, but I think the coaching staff and there's going to be some roster changes with this club as well. But congratulations to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're going to the NFC divisional round number 2. They will be playing the Detroit Lions this Sunday at 3 o'clock at Ford Field on NBC or you can listen to the game on 97.1 The Ticket with Dan Miller and Lomas Brown. And please check out my interview last week with Dan Miller from the Detroit Lions and Fox 2 in Detroit. One of the good guys, and I'm so happy for him. Some of the other NFL games this weekend, we'll do the Saturday games, 4:30, Houston at Baltimore, and then the 8:15 game. I'm really looking forward to this. The upstart Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love against Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers. So looking forward to those games. And then the Sunday games, Tampa Bay, Detroit at 3 p.m., and then Kansas City at Buffalo at 6:30 as well. And also, guys, the Red Wings are in Florida tonight, I believe. Red Wings are coming off a big 4-2 to win in Toronto on Sunday night. And also, the Detroit Pistons won a game last night, their 4th win of the year, and their first road win in 16 games with a 129-117 win over the Washington Wizards, who only have 7 wins. But you know what? I'm just so happy the Pistons have won, and that's their 4th win of the year. So again, I want to say thank you to everybody watching this live streamed and listening to this on audio and also on WQEE 99.1 FM. And I want to say thank you again to my guest, Dr. Meenal Agarwal, optometrist at the Pickering Town Center Optometric Center in Pickering, Ontario. And she has 2 other clinics in Stouffville and Promenade as well. So check her website out as well. I'm going to put it on here just before we wrap this show up, guys. I'm going to put it up 1 second. Her website again is PickeringEyeDocsDRS.com. You can see that there as well. So that's about it. I hope everybody has a great afternoon and can come back tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern for my second show with Courtney Mendenhall, a mental health specialist, a coach, trainer, and a podcast host, and a huge Pittsburgh Steelers fan. So have a great afternoon, everybody, and we'll see you tonight for another edition of Live with CDP Sports Talk, brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet here in Guelph and on WQEE 99.1 FM. Good afternoon, everybody.